Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Teresa Conway-Hayes, the Stampin' Bookkeeper. And if you like this video, I'm going to put it up on YouTube. So hopefully that's where you're watching it from right now. And I just ask that you give it a thumbs up or comment below. And so if you'd like to see more of my videos, please press the subscribe button. And I'm supposed to point down when I do this, but I'm not very good at doing the finger gestures. And click on the bell for notifications. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products to make this card or any other creation, please visit my online store, and the link is going to be in the description box below. Down again. Today I'd like to share with you how I created this fun card using some new products from the annual catalog. One of the new products that I'm using is the Lovely You stamp set. And that will be this right here. This is a red rubber cling stamp set. So we have the photopolymer and we have the red rubber. And this is how I prepare mine. I put the labels on. These labels are super sticky sometimes. So if you ever have trouble getting a label off, then what I do is I use the Take Your Pick tool with the spatula side, and I find an area that it will go under. I don't force it, and then I pry it up, and that keeps me from tearing my sponge, because since they went to these new cling stamps with these really super sticky labels, decals. Some people I know, they'll put them on their skin or their shirt or something to try and make them less sticky. I don't worry about that because I've always got my Take Your Pick tool that I can pry them up with. But if you force it, you could tear this sponge. So you want to be careful about that. That's your PSA for today. I will also be using the Tasteful Labels, that's right here, dies to create the label on my card. There are 10 shapes in this die set. Often I will put my dies on vent magnets so that I can see them all and just keep them more neat, but I'm out of those right now. But there are 10 great dies in this set. And actually I don't need to move them around like that because I put together a demonstration of that. So I've cut all the dies out. 5 of them are stitched, and then 5 of them have an emboss on them. They have an emboss detailed on them. So I'm going to be using this die today, and I don't know if I can bring that closer to be able to see. It's very faint, but I'm going to be using this die today to show you how that embossed detail looks, and I'm going to be sharing another technique with you about that. Today's card is made up with 2 of the new colors. They are Bumblebee and Just Jade. I'm also using Whisper White and Blackberry Bliss cardstock. I'll be using Just Jade and Bumblebee inks as well as the Black Rich Razzleberry and Blackberry Bliss Stampin' Right markers. So those are these. I'm usually using the blend markers that are the alcohol markers, but today I'm going to be using these quite a bit. So let's go ahead and get started. First, you'll need a Just Jade card base. So let me put my example over to the side here. This base is 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. You also need a piece of Whisper White cardstock that is cut 3 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches long. You also need 2 scrap pieces of Whisper White, and it doesn't really matter what size they are, as long as you can get 5 of the yellow flowers and 3 of the purple flowers, and then your sentiment on one of the sheets. We'll be stamping the sentiment on this scrap because I checked and it's long enough. The way I was able to check that was I held this die up to it. As long as it's the size of this die, we're okay. So let's see. So I said these, and then you'll also need, let's see. You'll also need this. I lost my size for this. A 1/2 inch strip by 5 inches. In addition, I'll be using a piece of bumblebee ribbon that is 13 inches long. This ended up being a little bit longer than what I needed, but I say 13 inches so that you're sure, if you're going to go ahead and pre-cut it, to be sure to have enough for to do your project. So to begin, I'm going to use the 3 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Whisper white cardstock to begin stamping a couple of the leaf images along the side. So from this set, I chose the long leaf image and the 3 leaf image. And I chose to use mint macaron and just jade. So I'm going to start with the 3 leaf image with just jade. I just realized I didn't load comments. And I'm going to move this out of the way. Last time I made this card, I had some errors on it from ink being on my fingers. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a white and have that handy and try to remember to keep my fingers clean. The Just Jade stamp pad that I have and the Blackberry Bliss, yes, are very juicy. So that's why I had some errors on my card. And I'll tell on myself here. Part of the error was right here. And so this wasn't planned. Everything was supposed to be on this side. So because I had that error, I went ahead and stamped some more there. I think I covered up another error with a flower over here. So goofs are happy accidents, and they're just an excuse to do something more with your card. So I'm going to go ahead and take this 3 leaf image, and I'm going to stamp along this one side. No real rhyme or reason, but I am going to leave some space in between the stamped images for the other image. Now I think this is what I did before, was I stamped like that and then I didn't clean up my area because I don't have a piece of scrap paper underneath. Now I could also fix that by grabbing a piece of scrap paper and putting it underneath. These are new stamp pads, so they're tight and it's easy to get ink on your thumb. And they also don't always want to snap close, so I also check them to make sure they snap close. Clean off my thumb. All right, now I also had problems with getting edges on this, and I'm going to cover that up with the next stamped image. Got my mint macaron. This is the older style stamp pad. I love these too. I'm going to ink up this longer leaf image with that. Now you can see that there's overlap right there. So that's when you get that outline. So you want to check your stamp and make sure that you don't have too much of that outline on there. That will mess up your image. So I'm going to use that to cover up the goof. And so I just need to be more careful and tap. There we go. Now, if I get off camera, I will check and I will bring it back in to show you. So this is what I've got so far. We're done with the leaf images for this part. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp the flowers with Bumblebee and Rich Raspberry. So we can put this panel to the side, and I'm going to take my scrap and I'm going to, nope, not the leaf. So I'm going to use these flowers. This larger flower and this smaller flower. And I'm going to take the Bumblebee ink. I'll stamp the small flower in this Bumblebee ink color. And I'm going to do 5 of those. Now I got an edge on there, but that's okay, because these are going to be fussy cut out. 3, 4, see if I can get another one there. 5. Then I am going to take my black Stampin' Write marker and I'm going to use the broad tip. So on your Stampin' Write markers, you have a thicker line and a thinner line. And it tells you that this is the fine point and this is the broader point. So I'm going to fill in these circles. Now the yellow flowers are done. Then I'm going to take the Blackberry Bliss. Sorry, I need the Blackberry Bliss and the Rich Raspberry markers. And I'm going to use the bigger flower. I'm going to start with the Rich Raspberry broad tip. And I'm going to color in the petals. And then I'm going to take the Blackberry Bliss and I'm going to color in the bottom, and I'm going to use a circular motion instead of strokes. I'm going to color that bottom in, and then I'm going to come up a bit and stamp. So that gives you a little bit of a variated look, different shades. And I'm going to repeat that 2 more times. Petals. And the bottom. There's 2 flowers, and I need 1 more. Now that these are all done, I'll put them to the side and then they'll be fussy cut out. So now I need my other scrap. And my Blackberry Bliss and my sentiment. The sentiment that I chose to use was Cherished Friend. Tap, tap, tap. Now I tried to do this straight because I don't have a lot of extra area for my cardstock. And then I can fit this on and that fits perfect. And I will go ahead and run that through the Big Shot. And this is what we have. I zoomed in and made it fuzzy, so I'm going to zoom back out. Having a lighting problem today. So again, I'm going to make sure that I don't have any ink on my fingers, because this is where it's really important. Yeah, that was just a little spot. I was afraid I got ink on it. Now there's another technique that I want to share with you, creating a little bevel look on the label. The bevel isn't created when you die cut it, but we'll take a look at how I create that. First of all, we do have the embossed look detail on this, and it's really hard to see, but I'm going to do something that's going to enhance that. So first of all, I take my die, and yes, so I want the die cut side up, and I fit my label into there. Yeah, just move it around until you feel like it's tucked in. And now I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to take out the end that has the spatula and the piercing tool, and I'm going to replace that with the scoring tool. Now this scoring tool has two sizes on each side, or one different size on each side, and I'm going to use the small side. So you just push it in, turn it, and it locks. Now I'm going to make sure I've got that label locked in, and I am going to just follow along the edge where I know that the embossing detail is. And this one actually isn't going as well as the other one did. It actually was really easy the first time. There we go. I'm going to run over it one more time, being careful not to move my paper, being careful not to press too hard that I tear my paper. All right, let's see how it did. Not bad. It is more intense. Now the next thing I'm going to do is the bevel look. So the next step is to go down until the die is no more. So what I mean by that is, get it locked in. I'm going to find where that edge is of that die. And I'm going to run this tool along that edge. And that will give it the beveled look. Let's see if I can get the shine off of there. Okay, so that's how you do the bevel look on there. Okay, so the next thing, let's see, we've gone ahead and put the sentiment on. Now we're ready to put the card together. So you'll take your card base and fold along the score line. My cards, I already fold them and everything, so I just have it unfolded so that you can see that there would be a score line here. You fold it, use your bone folder to burnish it, and you've got a card base. Then we'll add the thin strip of Blackberry Bliss to the back side of the stamped Whisper White panel layer. So I'm going to take the new Stampin' Seal Plus, and the first thing I want to do is make sure that the sticky is fed through. So sometimes when you use these, the sticky comes off and all you have is non-sticky plastic on here, and so you need to just feed that sticky out a little bit, and then you don't have to press hard, and you really don't have to do a whole strip either, but if you stop, then you have to feed and get it started again. All right, now some of the adhesive is overlapping here, so you can just take your finger and you can fold it down. I don't really have to worry about it now that I think of it because of what I'm using this for. So I'm going to take these and line them up. I just want it to peek out a little bit. And I want it to be centered. All right, that'll work. Now we're going to add adhesive to this. If you've used Fast Fuse before, you'll be familiar with the fact that you sometimes have to feed this adhesive. And it's my understanding, this is a new product, so I'm not going to present myself as an expert, but it's my understanding that the Stampin' Seal Plus is more like the Fast Fuse, and then the Stampin' Seal, which is this one, is more like the Snail. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up on the right side of the card base. With a nice border all the way around. Next, let's add our greeting. So we will adhere adhesive to the back, and then we're going to put a bow on the back. Want to make sure I have enough adhesive on there for that bow to grab hold of. So I need to look and see what the orientation is of my greeting, because of course I want, you know, the loops of the bow to be at the top and the strings to be towards the bottom. So I'm going to start in a diagonal where the string is at the bottom. And then I'm going to create a bow. And I'm going to tack it down right there. Oops. And then another bow like that. See what that looks like. So I like how much is right here. That's a little bit more, but I don't know if I can fix that. Let's see if I can. Okay, I wasn't sure how easy that was going to pull off of there. Okay, that works. Or not. I'm still going to play with it. All right, I think I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to put 2 mini dimensionals on the back of here on either side of the bow. And attach it to the lower third part of the card. Now I'll take my scissors and I'll trim those tails. So anybody who's watched me for a while knows that I have what is called familiar trimmers. And so sometimes I just have to slow down a little bit, or I'll cut myself or poke myself. And it just takes me a little bit longer to get things aligned and that sort of thing. We'll add the fussy cut flowers now. So we're going to fussy cut all these flowers out. And I've gone ahead and done that already. Let's see, I've got 3 of these. 1, 2, 3, whoops. 4 of these and 2 of those. Maybe I'm going to need to cut some out. Nope, there's 3 and 5. Okay, got it. And I'm going to take the glue dots, and I'm going to put glue dots on the back of these flowers. Fussy cutting is very difficult for me because of the familiar trimmers. So at some point I may invest in like a Brothers Scan and Cut or whatever. There's different models and different brands. But I'm not there yet. Something more to learn. Okay, so we're going to take the purple flowers and I'm going to put one right here, and then I'm going to put another one right here, and I'll put another one right here. Now I'm going to put the yellow flowers down. There we go. The last touch to our card is to add some champagne colored rhinestones. And I'm going to take the Take Your Pick tool again, and this time I'm going to use the end that has excuse me, the putty end, and I'm going to use the small rhinestones. I'll put one right there, and I'll put one right there, and I think I'll put one right there. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. If you'd like to see a full tutorial on how to make this card, visit thestampinbookkeeper.com. You can also shop for any of the products needed from that tutorial. So on the tutorial, they'll have a list of the products, and they'll be linked to my online store. That isn't up right now, but I have most of the content written for it. I just need to take a picture of the card, and I'll have that up by the end of the day. So have a great day, and I look forward to our next stamping demonstration. Thank you. Bye.